Ukrainian forces have once again unleashed their highly effective fleet of FPV drones against Russian artillery positions, striking deep into the front line with devastating precision. Reports from the battlefield indicate that multiple Russian howitzers, mortars, and rocket launchers were obliterated in a wave of coordinated drone attacks. The strikes were carried out with relentless intensity, leaving Russian gunners scrambling for cover as Ukrainian drones descended on their positions one after another. Eyewitnesses described scenes of chaos as artillery crews abandoned their weapons, realizing they had little chance of survival against drones that could hunt them down with pinpoint accuracy. According to Ukrainian military sources, the operation was planned days in advance, using reconnaissance drones to map out Russian artillery nests hidden within forest lines and dugouts. Once the locations were confirmed, FPV drones, armed with powerful explosive charges, were dispatched in successive waves. The first detonations ripped through Russian firing positions, sending shock waves across the front line that echoed 4 miles. Massive fireballs erupted from camouflaged howitzers, their barrels torn apart in the blast, while nearby ammunition crates exploded in a chain reaction, creating thunderous booms that shook the ground. Flames engulfed trenches and storage pits, and black smoke billowed into the air, marking the destruction for everyone on the battlefield to see. Soldiers on both sides described the moment as apocalyptic, with the air filled by the roar of explosions, the acrid smell of burning metal, and the terrifying certainty that death was hovering above. Russian forces attempted to return fire with anti-aircraft guns and machine guns, but the sheer speed and maneuverability of the Ukrainian FPV drones made them nearly impossible targets. Tracer rounds streaked across the sky in desperate arcs, but most failed to connect as drones weaved and darted like hornets closing in on prey. Soldiers on the ground were left exposed, watching helplessly as their heavy weapons, once their pride and lifeline, were reduced to twisted, smoking wreckage in a matter of minutes. Survivors reported that the attacks felt endless, with Ukrainian operators sending drone after drone, each one slamming into a different artillery piece with merciless precision. The constant buzzing above drove Russian troops into panic, forcing them to cower in foxholes and bunker. Yet, even underground, the concussive force of nearby strikes rattled their shelters, leaving men trembling and disoriented. The psychological toll was immense. Military analysts believe the destruction of Russian artillery will significantly reduce their ability to shell Ukrainian positions in the coming weeks. Without the devastating barrage of howitzers and multiple rocket launchers, Russian infantry assaults lose much of their covering firepower, making them vulnerable to ambushes and counteroffensives. Some experts predict that this could tip the balance in several contested sectors, buying Ukraine precious breathing room to regroup and push forward. Video footage released by Ukrainian units shows drones weaving through treetops, dipping low over fields, and locking onto artillery targets before exploding in powerful bursts. Each strike sends plumes of fire and debris skyward, leaving nothing but blackened craters and scattered wreckage. The footage, widely shared on social media, has gone viral, praised as proof of Ukraine's growing dominance in modern drone warfare. Soldiers in the trenches admit that watching these videos boosts morale, reminding them that their enemies are not untouchable. Meanwhile, Russian commanders are reportedly furious over the repeated failures to defend against Ukrainian drone swarms. Orders to strengthen electronic warfare coverage have gone largely unfulfilled due to equipment shortages and logistical chaos. Some analysts suggest Russia is running dangerously low on jamming systems capable of disrupting FPV drone signals, leaving artillery crews increasingly isolated and exposed. Rumors spread within Russian ranks that reinforcements would arrive with better defenses. But for now, the artillerymen remain little more than sitting target. The success of these strikes also highlights Ukraine's innovative use of low-cost technology to neutralize expensive Russian asset. A single FPV drone assembled at a fraction of the cost of traditional missiles can eliminate artillery worth millions. Military strategists call it an asymmetric advantage, one that is steadily draining Russia's arsenal while keeping Ukrainian losses comparatively low. Frontline soldiers interviewed after the operation described the mood as electrifying, saying that the sight of Russian guns exploding gave them fresh determination to fight on. Every drone that hits its target saves dozens of our lives.